All right. Welcome to the Recruiter Startup Podcast. Stuart Mitchell, it is not his first time. Uh, I think the first time we did it was in person in LA. How many years ago?
It would have been 5.5 years ago. I saw the videos the other day coming up online, and it was what, like a month before the pandemic. We
A
were
month
in the
before the
office in
pandemic.
LA.
Because do you remember I was talking about moving
Yeah.
and
You were looking at Santa Barbara, right? If I
looking at
remember
Santa Barbara? And
rightly.
we went up to Santa Barbara, rented this unbelievable house, and then I could just see every day, every hour, an interview fell off the interview request until we went to zero. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh no. Um, yeah, crazy times, eh? So
Yeah.
as we stand, neither of us live in in
Where we
LA.
were.
I'm between Gibraltar and Sota Grande, and in the gym here in the Angry Chill gym in Gibraltar, where we set up a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym a couple of years ago. So that's a interesting turn of
Yeah,
direct.
better yeah, better going than recruitment the last couple of years. That's for sure. It's been pretty nuts, pretty challenging. I know we talked about this, but yeah, I'm also no longer in LA. I often wonder if I'd still be there if it wasn't for the pandemic. Like I had a pretty sweet gig at the time. I was loving life, just got engaged. Like I was actually listening to our podcast this morning, and I wonder if I would still be there if the world didn't change. But yeah, I made the move to the East Coast, living between in Connecticut between New York and Boston.
And what is the world as it is right now in the US? I I follow US politics a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy everything about it. Is the US dream still alive? Is
Yeah, I think honestly, I could say I've lived it. Like I came like shit dressed guy from Northampton, stepped on Wall Street in 2014, like to now. And one thing I really enjoy is over these last couple of years, like watching other people make that same jump as well. I think like Austin seems to be the hot spot where everyone was doing it. It used to be New York. There was a run where it was LA, and now it's Austin.
in
People are still
Miami?
coming at Miami as well, right? Like South Florida, Tampa as well.
Yeah,
But I love that. Like obviously, I'm at a different phase in my life where I'm creating my legacy, setting my kids up, and working on the business. But I love seeing on LinkedIn these, young guys and girls in their 20s that kind of look at the UK and think, ugh, like, what am I doing here? Let's roll the dice. Let's take a
yeah.
swing. And I still think there's an amazing life out here. Look, when you talk about what are things like in the US, um, it's polarizing, right? Like it's real. Like there is some friction, there is some tension, and it remains to be seen what it's going to mean for everybody.
That tension is spread globally.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, right? Like you look at the UK, you can feel it. Australia, France can't keep a prime minister. Yeah, it's a weird kind of angry time. If I was to go, like, I blame social media for a lot of it. Like a lot of people go
Right.
down their own rabbit holes, and once you're told
Well,
to be
because
angry at
the,
one
the
thing, it'll
because
drive you.
the algorithm feeds you what you wanted. So
Yeah,
you're in this bit of just more believing what you want to believe, and you're around other
yeah.
people who believe the same thing, and it's deliberately doing that. And people get so emotional about everything. So yeah, it's one of those things. Don't talk about religion or politics, eh?
Yeah, which is a shame, right? Like I do, I've always enjoyed healthy like discussion, right? And I am always open to learning because the problem is that's gone now, right? Like the healthy discussion, we're so far apart now that the healthy discussion, because back to your point, the algorithm has proved that you're so right and the other guys are idiots.
Yeah,
It's just sad, right? And I like it's funny. I manage people at Hampton North who have like very different on the political spectrum. So I go down both rabbit holes just so I can understand like where's your head today, how are you reacting to what's in the news today, as well as like some clients, right? There's some
yeah.
clients who pretty obviously feel one way or the other. And look, I'm a little bit of a chameleon, right? I'll be who they need me to be. But it's yeah, look, it's an interesting time. I'm hopeful that things calm down a little bit. And
But
then obviously I think we'll probably talk
if
about
we steer this a
AI.
little
Yeah.
bit into the commercial side of things,
Yeah.
I'm looking at LinkedIn now, and I'm speaking to clients again, and we did a poll in the RecWired group, and 25 out
Yeah.
of 25 scalable founders said the market's back. And we've ran that poll every 3 months, and this is the first time that we've had a big response. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at things, and I'm so from the All In podcast, my Bible, the source of information that I go for, um, which you never know quite what their agenda is, what they're pushing, but it sounds like there's amazing money being put into AI and the infrastructure around that. And there's also going to be a lot of government spend around different infrastructure projects in the US and the push to bring jobs back.
Yeah.
It, it seems that people are making money in recruitment again.
For sure.
In
Yeah,
recruit
I would
in
agree. And I was one of those people who said, I think like this is, you know, we're having as good of a quarter or last 3 or 4 months as we've had. Sure, you can, every recruitment founder wants to say, hey, it's because we've tightened up our systems and we've got our messaging right.
bullshit.
Bullshit. Correct.
Bullshit.
Like, and I'm okay admitting that, right?
Because
And
you're still
we,
here.
yeah, exactly that. And I think we like we talk internally right now of like we've waited 2 3 years for this. Don't fucking miss because we don't know how long this is going to last, right? This could be a 6 month, 2 year,
Yeah.
5 year wave.
Do you know
Cash the
what though?
fuck
That
in.
that thought process has come to you because you've now experienced, and we have, boom and bust for the last while, whereas before it was
Yeah,
plain sailing for a long time. So
yeah.
we're all thinking, oh, this might.
Yeah, it could be 6 months, it could be 6 years. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
But the water is warm right now, and I think this is a really good like. And I see it with other businesses. Businesses are growing again. We talked about the rec to rec market. People are, when it becomes hard to hire recruiters again, or at least good ones, you know it's a good sign, right?
Yeah,
So
I go back
I,
in direct rec and start going, I'm
I'm
back.
back.
I'm back. Is
Exactly.
it easy again? Because if it's easy, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, look,
um,
it's the market's
it,
good, but I still think that like the US is still reigning supreme over other markets, at least for now. You can see it online. You see the businesses in the UK that are either moving out here or setting
Mm,
up at home and working the US market. I'd still say the advantages for us guys on the ground for sure. But yeah, the water is very warm and the money, the VCs are spending huge amounts of money in, AI startups. The M&A market is good. And that's good for everyone, right? Like when the VCs are writing checks again and rates are probably going to go down again between when you release this podcast. It's good. It's good for businesses.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Orca, the online recruitment coaching academy. Get access to live coaching, online courses, and playbooks from the industry's top coaches. Your entire organization can get access for less than the price of one email per day. Sign up today at trainwithorca.com. Back to the show.
I suppose the counter argument is there's never been more internal recruiters looking for a job on LinkedIn than there is right now. So, and I've never seen more independent recruiters out of work and on Facebook groups who are now like walking dogs for a living. Uh, it's it feels like it's a great economy for some and
Yes.
not for everybody.
Look, people in 2021 made hundreds of thousands of dollars, was flying first class, were buying Gucci that probably didn't deserve that seat to the party, right? Like if I talk about this a lot, both in my industry, cybersecurity and recruitment as well, is like there are a lot of people who are really unfairly shown a world that maybe they're not going to have access to for the rest of their life because the market was so good. You only have to look at the brilliant recruiters, and look, you take LinkedIn with a pinch of salt, but there's certain people I genuinely do believe, and I know that they're doing pretty well, and I get genuinely happy for them. But you only have to kind of look. The water is warm for people who are really good, who have stuck to it, who haven't burnt any bridges in these last couple of years or messed up their reputation, and they're kind of reaping the results. But you're right, like 2021, 2022, people with 2 years experience. I remember losing a couple of people on my team, and they were like, hey, I don't really want to leave, but I'm 23 and they're offering me 160K plus a sign on plus equity to go in house. Like, my dad will kill me if I don't go. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Like, good for you. Like, and it was a crazy time because, and look, obviously most of these people are not in the seats that they were in when they got
Yeah.
those offers. But that was the market, and it was crazy, and it was like a little bit unhealthy. What I'm seeing now is businesses are not as quick to bring talent internal, which is good for agency. I know some of the RPO businesses are kind of pretty booked up again, which is a good sign. But yeah, I think I don't know businesses will be as aggressively hiring huge talent teams like they were in our last boom that we got a few years back.
Yeah. But, so let's take it a step back. So if the VCs are spending money and it costs less money to build to ship product out there now, and are they saying is and you can come to at this answer from what you're seeing in recruitment as well. Is AI meaning that we need less people and there's less jobs right now, or are we figuring out that it's not all that it was cracked out to be?
That's a big question, and this can take a diplomatic answer. Look,
No, no,
AI
no. We
is
don't do diplomacy here.
that's true. Look, AI is here and here to say, and it will eradicate a lot of people's jobs of what they're doing today, right? Like that just is like that is not, that's not going to change. That said, like it's creating opportunity too, right? And there might not be the skill sets that people want to hear, but like if you look at, as an example, there's a lot of talk about what people call the forward deployed engineer, right? Which is basically for an AI company, a customer solutions engineer. That skill set is going through the roof, which is basically if you're an engineer who understands AI and can talk to customers, you're great, like you're set. And these businesses that are setting, most of people's AI use is really like customer service, chatbot, etc. If you can help with that, your ticket is golden. Customer service, probably gone, right? At least at a very
Yeah, yeah.
day to day level. Look,
But
there's
sorry,
always going to be the
can I
people.
counter
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
I can't get my bank on the phone.
right.
I can't, I can't. I go into a shop and there's not enough service. I
Yeah,
go like every walk of life I go, technology's letting me down and there's not enough people. Like
yeah,
I know in theory it might work and then they're balancing the books, but I went in even I went into the shop there to buy a TV and something else, and there wasn't enough people.
yeah.
And then I go into another one, and the same thing happens again. And I'm finding everywhere in my life I'm being thrown through technology webs that don't work.
Yeah, and I always use the example of the grocery store, right, or Tesco's, or whatever it is. Like, if you buy one or two things, you'll go to the self checkout. I'm not going to self checkout 50 fucking things, right? Like, it's not my job. So I think like there's going to be holes, and I think as intelligent people, right, like you actually when you are calling customer service, most of the stuff you can figure out online if you're high enough
Yeah,
intellect. You're calling customer service to get around the fucking red tape, right? So AI is red tape. It's not going to bend the rules for you. Like, there's no, hey, like, come on, I can't make it next Tuesday. Cancellation fee is $50. Like, is it like, come on, like, you come up with whatever lie. Being
yeah,
British in the States, I've got away with a lot of fees. But yeah, I agree to that extent, and I think we'll end up like I always think you've got the extremities, right? You've got some people that just think AI is slop. You got some people who think that it's the end of humanity. Like the reality is, we'll probably end up somewhere in the middle where people will use it for efficiencies. Like I'm still reticent to use it for anything customer facing, and honestly, it irks me when people are messaging me using AI because it means that I'm not worth their fucking time, and it is annoying. Like I can see this outreach that is like so tailored that it's talking about where I went to school, which is so irrelevant. And I know where it's come from versus like honestly when people reach out like, hey mate, can you help with this? Like almost that sloppy humanness is a superpower now versus like the
Yeah.
over configuration because you can write the perfect email to everyone now.
Well, the common sense thing should be that it should do everything else. So you
Yes.
can do 1,000 hey mates
Yeah.
and cover your entire network. Like, like,
Yeah.
because you only need 100 customers. Like,
But
you know,
barely. Like, yeah. I mean,
like
and not
A,
even
B, and
that,
C,
right?
A,
Yeah.
B, and C them, and you only need 2,000 candidates, like
Yeah.
within a niche to run a desk, that is anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
So if it's got the data and it's helping you with your content, it's helping you coordinate things and it's recording stuff and helping that to be built into stuff and it should have the superpower should be the human connection, right? Because
Correct.
it's the bit that we crave. Like,
Agreed. Agreed. And we've really missed that over the last few years. I think
yeah,
everyone's going back to something. I see a lot more like deliberate social groups, actually like deliberate male social groups over the last few years. Obviously, you have jiu-jitsu, but
yeah.
I think we forgot like how much as humans we crave each other's connection, friendship, validation. Like we really did just kind of we were like, all right, well, I can make 500,000 in my underwear, so I'm just not going to leave the house. And
Mm,
we all got really depressed. So
yeah.
we needed to kind of find the way out of it. Um, but yeah, I think like if it can, or automate some of the stuff that recruiters hate doing, which is paperwork and note taking and there's some great software that we're coming out that are probably going to move past the legacy players that are really really going to help. I mean, you look at how you edit a podcast nowadays, right? Like it's you don't have to hire a podcast editor or sit and read through it. It's like, cool, let's bring up these 3 slides that we can send to promote,
Mm,
and then we'll send it out. Like it's just so much easier. And again, like what does a podcast editor's future look like? Like, is that a job anymore?
yeah. It is if you're lazy. So like
Yeah.
it do you know what? I don't mind. I've used the same guy for a long time, but then I use him to edit all our Orca stuff as well. And
Yeah.
and it's not bad to feed the good people around you. And
Correct.
because that team, sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here,
That's all right.
but that team that you collect of good, capable people, we're all going to have to be more solution focused moving forward. So when the dip happened this time, and I did it last time as well, instead of just like trying to scrape a cheap deal out of somewhere and lower my rates and like beg for business. I spent the time building out advisory solutions and
Yeah.
building out like the Orca platform and now I'm like we're an advisor to a couple of RecTech businesses. We're doing a bit of go-to-market stuff and that team that you collect who might just start working for you internally, if
Yeah.
they're open to learn you can put them to new solutions and all the rest. And I think as recruitment businesses, that network of our clients, we're going to be able to offer them different things to stay alive. It's not going to be just enough to fill a job. Like I think we're going to
Agreed.
have to get in there, advise them on their hiring strategy, advise them on what that looks like and without it sounding too wanky that we're turning into RPOs, I do believe that the business from advisor to headhunter should be melded into the one because AI is going to kill us otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the reality is, if you look at most people's processes to pick up a search and fill it, that's rinse and repeat, right? Like, hey, I'm going to do a LinkedIn outreach. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to schedule a call. I'm going to ask these 12 questions. Why am I paying 90K plus healthcare plus commission? Like,
Yeah,
if I can get, even if I can get 70% of the results using AI, and we're seeing it, right? Like, we're seeing people do it. I think going back to your point, though, backing really smart people, sticking with them, staying patient, even when they're not
mm,
yielding the results that you're used to. I'll be honest, I reckon most of the business we got in 23, 24 were people just throwing me leg ups to make sure that we got through this time.
yeah,
All right, like if I give Stu 2 hires, like we're making 10, we'll give Stu two just so he can get his 80 grand, 100 grand because we're going to need him one day, and I want to keep him rocking. And yeah, like I think there is that, like, okay, make sure you look out for the people because they might not be it. And you see it all the time with like restaurants, right? Like, all
Yeah.
right, like you're like, oh no, I can't believe that place shut down, and you haven't been there for 6 months. Like, you have to spend a bit of money. You got to throw them a
Yeah,
bone
of course.
sometimes to keep them in. Like,
But
oh no, I didn't want that to go.
but if we look at things now where businesses like to stay lean, right? So I
Yeah,
don't want a big mad team of TA dolly birds, right?
yeah,
To wind somebody up listening to that, right?
yeah,
That one goes out to all the dolly birds. So I don't want a big. I'm a founder. I've just got my money. You know, I just one Y Combinator, whatever it is. Like, I don't want that big heavy team because I don't know if there's a crash going to happen, and I don't. So I do want a flexible hiring solution, and if I'm doing that, Jesus, I'd love to get some advice on it. I'd love to trust
yes,
somebody that can work backwards on where I need to be on my org and help me plan what that looks like and help me like map out maybe what that'll look like on different hires and then try and cost it with me and be that partner along the way. And I don't think I always believed in those style businesses, but the I can really see that being the future of things now, just the way it is. It's going to be too easy to just
yeah.
get
To
that
just
get that the identification is there now. Everybody can do that, right?
yeah, yeah. It's
Everybody
crazy.
can engage
And
the identification. So then
yeah,
we're just down to persuasion. Now, I don't think
exactly
that's
that.
enough.
No, I mean, look, I think there's a couple of things that are going to help businesses stand out. I think media presence is going to be important, right? Like, okay, I've partnered with this company that you've never heard of, but you've heard of my company, so I can attract the people that you wouldn't be able to get because actually in my space, my company is more like higher profile and prolific than yours.
Yeah,
And that's something we sell at is like, hey, like between my team, more people have heard of Hampton North than have heard of your startup or software
yeah,
company or whatever it is. So if we say, hey, we're recruiting for X company, we can get people that are just never going to go towards your job, your job slot or reply to your recruiters or whatever. And I think that's one part. But yeah, the other part is I think particularly with these early stage companies, a lot of these founders are like 25, right? They actually, I think people who are starting to have some
are
success,
you
they
are
think they
you are
know
you my are you
everything.
my age, Stu?
I'm 36.
You're younger than me, right? Yeah,
So,
but
but
you're old as fuck though.
yeah, I'm old enough to know that I didn't know shit in my 20s and still like I'm about putting it together now, but I also remember thinking in my 20s I had it all figured out.
Yeah.
And it's the Dunning-Kruger thing, right? Of like, okay, I've had a bit of success. I'm really fucking smart. And now I look back on those days and I was like, wow, like not, and honestly, some of the naivety is quite beautiful, right? It's why you see some of
Yeah.
these like 24-year-olds calling Sam Altman, like, hey, I want to talk to you about your hiring. And like you said to me now, I'm like, all right, like, yeah, no, like that's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
there is some beauty to that like naivety. But yeah, I think like I realize I've got, I don't know shit, and I'm doing my best with what I've got. But yeah, I think honestly, particularly for guys, I think we probably have that like in our 20s, hit a bit of success, walk with the stride, and we're actually fucking terrible.
Like 10. Um, so I think so it's yeah, look, I think we both agree. I think it was Gary Vee that pointed it out at first. He said like brand will be everything. Like
Yeah,
it'll be everything. What do you think of my vision for the future of a recruiter? I recently bought the glasses, the AI glasses. Uh,
yeah,
what are they called?
the meta
The Meta
ones.
ones, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I think the future of that and all applications, you'll put on that and you'll be able to just stand there, look at a wall or whatever it is, and you'll be able to go, all right, pull up my thing, pull up
yeah,
my 8 candidates, my hot jobs, pull up this here. I want you to go into whatever your ATS is, and then just you'll be
yeah.
able to start
Full Tony Stark, right?
yeah,
Proper Tony Stark Iron
You'll be
Man.
Tony Stark in
Yeah,
this stuff. All right, okay, now let's set up a call list, right? Let's call through them. Right, bang. Okay. Okay, right, brilliant. Okay, right, with this podcast now. Right, let's just record it from here. Okay, you do that, right? Edit that for me. Get that out
Yeah.
there to those people that I mentioned. See if I can tee up. Like, I can see that this superpower is going to be for everybody super soon. Like, I can see
Yeah.
it clear. I can see it clear as day. And I think, the ATS providers out there, I think the ones that have the all-in-one are going to be, I think it's going to be a big, like, the simpler it is to use something, I think it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and they're gonna have to move quick, right? You look at
yeah,
how fast tech is moving right now, and I think right now the winners in AI, like other than the obvious ones like OpenAI and Anthropic, who are gonna be just fine. Like fastest mover advantage is such a thing right now. Like if you can get me a solution to start tomorrow, like in 2 months you might have missed it, right? Like five
yeah,
other companies have come up. And it also puts some pressure on them. So from a hiring perspective, that's good for us because they don't want to wait 2 months to wait for a candidate
brilliant.
to
Yeah,
apply because the business is gone. But the businesses that just like move really quickly, take care of their customers, and look, I don't know when we'll see it. I think we will see it where it is like I think we will see a world of like super recruiters who are like backed by an agentic team behind them, and can just like
oh,
fizz
I think
and
that's around the
whatever.
corner.
Yeah, like next
Like,
year. Yeah,
well, in theory, yeah, but like
yeah,
definitely within 5 years. Like
100%.
it it's gonna. But what does that mean for the majority? What does that mean for like? I can, like, we've already seen a load of the market get decimated.
Yeah, and it will. We talked about it, right? Brand is going to be everything, and you have a unique opportunity right now while people are still looking. I think entering the market in 3 or 4 years is going to be like nigh on impossible, other than if you cling to like a super name of like, okay, I work for who's the life sciences guy that you've had on a couple of
Ah, yeah,
times?
yeah. Joe Mullings. I haven't had him on in a
Like
while.
he's
Yeah,
like I look at him as like my goals, right? It's
yeah,
like the Mullings, and it's like cool. I work for Joe Mullins. Okay, great. Like I think he's a wonderful example of like
yeah,
a super agent, super recruiter. And I like I'm driving towards trying to be that for Hampton North and being in the right
yeah.
circles that can be a market mover.
He believed in the Christmas tree model where he sits at the top. He's the angel at the
Mhm.
top, and
Yeah,
then everybody else is like 280 delivery beneath.
yeah. Very like I think we probably have some folks who are like incredible at what they do, but I think as the market moves, and we become very brand reliant and brand dependent, somebody is going to have to sit at the top of that. Again, it's going to be a really, really interesting time, particularly
He
as,
he also nails that advisory plus.
yeah,
Like
the media stuff.
he'll
Like
get in
he
on,
did
like
media, he
he'll
did
get
media
in on a
before it was
board
cool, right?
room meeting
Yeah,
and be involved. So yeah, he's definitely been ahead of his times.
yeah.
I
I'm sure
I
he's not
rem-
stressed about AI at all.
I know. No, well, he's probably got his own. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah, but then I look at all the old school guys and I think, and I know there's loads of people on LinkedIn talking about this nonstop, like the old school is the only way. I really think you're gonna have to be really good at everything.
agreed. And honestly, the that way is only going to get harder, right? Because I look at my email, my phone right now. Like obviously, everyone's contact data is sold, right? So like anyone who
Yeah,
wants to call me, it's out there. The emails are so good. Like the emails I get are unbelievable to sell to me.
yeah,
I'm not getting quick question anymore or anything like that. So I think email is going to be harder. So I think like front and center, being part of communities, being visible, that's going to be everything. And look, I mean, I look back and I was trying to do this in 2014, 2015, 2016. My CEO thought, like prominent guy thought I was lazy because I wasn't always top of the cool stats. I was always top of the billing leaderboard, but I was trying to meet more people and, I was never a great cold caller, but found the way, and it was
yeah.
creative writing and whatever. So it's probably a little bit ahead of my time, and it's worked out quite well in the kind of LinkedIn rush that LinkedIn are making it harder right now. I think it's pay to play if you want people to look at your posts anymore,
Yeah,
which is going to
it
be
is, I think.
interesting. Yeah.
I think it's the money now, the best money spent in boosting things.
Hmm.
It's
Agreed.
but I don't know, I made an effort on it last week because I was like, I noticed I was way down the charts. And
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I better have a go at this. And I raised it like 180%.
Yeah.
And just by being a bit more clever with AI, with some AI pictures and that. So I think you still can't do it, but I think if the secret is if you hit all the right things and it trends okay, like let's say it goes from 5,000 to 10,000 and you're starting to see it go from 10,000 upwards. If you put a few quid behind that, then
Yeah.
bang, it's out
Yeah.
there and you get a real return. So it is pay to play, but you still can't.
But you get what you, but you also get what you pay for, right? Like you get
Yeah,
what you pay for. So it is, but yeah, people don't like to spend money. It's still something that I've always struggled with. Like I've always been comfortable spending money. We pay more than most. We give great benefits and things like that. And people look at me like, "What are you doing?" And then the same people come to me of like, "Okay, how do you have your team performing?" You just get what you pay for in life, right? Like you take care of your people, they'll be fine.
yeah, for sure. Just in terms of the recruitment technology out there, where do you see it all going?
Good question. Look, you're seeing some like SF money really going into recruitment right now. Some that's worked out, some that haven't. I know there's a lot of noise around like Juicebox. A lot of people are buying into. Um, long term, I don't know how viable LinkedIn is going to be for a lot of
So,
businesses.
for anybody that doesn't know, Juicebox Pin, and I saw another smaller one version. They're essentially pitching themselves as a LinkedIn recruiter replacement,
Yeah,
right?
and
So they go,
it's
they
a good
find the
market to
data, they
go. It's a
engage the
good
data, they
market.
warm the data.
It's a good market to go after, right? Because I think at some point, LinkedIn Recruiter is just not going to be viable for most businesses. It's incredibly expensive. They're adding a lot of features that no one wants, and so like there is a market to be had there.
It's a new category for sure.
100%, 100%, because no
But
one's really
those
gone
guys are
for it.
super young, hey? Like imagine,
Yeah,
like
kids. Yeah,
yeah, it's impressive. I met another ATS spot, and they were super impressive kids, like just young guys, and I was like, wow, well, I'm a different generation. That's just
yep. Sad, isn't it? It's like shit. I
yeah.
am old now. And
Also, I
again,
was
they have
like,
that naivety, right? Like they have that, like,
yeah,
okay, everything's going to be fine, or we'll figure it out. And it's like, we've been here enough times to know you probably won't.
yeah.
But like I hope they're right, and it will be interesting. And then look, I mean, I see these platforms as well, like the Paraforms of the world, where they're recruiters hiding behind business development. I don't know if you've seen these guys, but you basically reduced fees and you can basically work on Recs without doing any BD.
But they won't work.
I, I don't think so either.
Nah,
I just think
they
like,
won't work because there's no power of relationship. So there's no power
no,
of influence. Like you might get an odd deal in there, but essentially you're building somebody else's brand.
correct.
And
And
I
giving them
think
all the data and
uh,
it's, it's,
you're
yeah,
absolutely bonkers to do that. Um, so yeah, it's you have to be very careful on that stuff. The clay stuff, the clay marketing automation stuff. So testing that right now, but
yeah.
it's still not
It's incredible, but you just needs a lot of configuration. We looked and it's for smart people and
well, no, but
it's
like
yeah,
everything, you get a smart
yeah,
person to configure it for you,
correct.
and that's fine. But it still comes down to the power of your email marketing.
Yeah, exactly that. And I also think like most businesses, it's the good thing about Clay is if you have a really tight niche in ICP, it's great. Most businesses are like, oh, well, we do a bit of finance and we do, and it like Clay can't research the little bits of things that you
Yeah.
do. You need to have a super tight ICP. Like, hey, we do Series B fintech businesses who are
Yeah.
hiring
Yeah,
for
but
deployed
even
engineers.
then, it's let's say you get it done, you get it configured, everything's like it's identifying stuff and it's firing off emails. You still have to A/B test those emails.
Correct.
And it still has to be like you have to have somebody monitoring it and you have to it there's a lot there. Like
Yeah.
I I feel I feel a lot of stuff out there. Like I'm testing everything. I'm a big believer in,
Yeah.
in testing everything. But we're in the first generation of a lot of the stuff.
None of this stuff will last, but for what it's worth, I think like most of this stuff will be like, okay, these were the early adopters. In 5 years, I don't know, these will either get swallowed up by big players like LinkedIn will come in and go, bing, bing, bing. These are the three things that we need to make LinkedIn better and more expensive. You guys need us. OpenAI might take two. Some of them just like, in my industry, right? Like OpenAI just released their own security scanner and that's just eradicated like 42 startups that were doing the same thing. And for cost, it's like, oh shit, like we've been building a business for 18 months. They've been doing that in house. Everyone's going to go for OpenAI's solution because it's part and parcel of what they've got versus having to layer this on top of it. And that's what's going to happen a lot is a lot of VCs are chugging in to fix a problem, and a lot of these like the native LLMs are going to fix it themselves because why wouldn't they?
And with your own business now, how many staff do you have?
So we're nine, including
You're
myself.
nine. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So really, you're a scalable boutique, and
Yes, and I don't want to be bigger than that. I don't want to be 150 people. I think like what like in my world, this was always a 15 to 20 person business, averaging
brilliant.
50 to 60K a head, super profitable, super lean,
So
can
if you
weather
if you want to
storms.
get out of this at some stage, there has to be a management buyout. Like that's
Yeah,
that's your route to riding after the sunshine.
yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd love to give this business to the people who are in it today. Like
But
they're
I don't
awesome.
think enough people like know that that's an opportunity for them. Like they go, I'm going to get 50 heads, and then 50 goes to 10. I'm going to go up to
Yeah,
50, and then those 50 are shit. But
yeah,
they're doing enough fucking grind to make it happen. Whereas if you have 10 and the management team can buy you out, they could buy a great business, and maybe they're
yeah.
younger and hungrier, and you go off and do the next thing.
Exactly that, right? I think we're not building to sell. That's kind of our mantra. And I think when you build to sell, there's so much focus on process, like everyone being like super almost the same. And there's no room for individual brilliance, right? Like it's like, hey,
Yeah.
we're one of the pack and everyone moves in the same way. You got to have some of that, right? You can't be nine individuals, but if you whack the process out of some amazing, if you whack too much process into great people, they just leave and set up. Like that's kind of the
Yeah.
story in my life is I didn't want to be a cog in the wheel, and you end up. I think Mike Wilkes is a good example of you have a great business if you can bring people who are not brilliant and do well in it. I don't
Hmm.
want to work with those people to be honest.
Tell me, how much of your job is going to meet clients face to face?
Probably if you include Zoom, probably 40%. If you don't, probably 25%. Like I was in New York for a conference 2 days last week. I'm down in Florida on Friday seeing customers. It is like that's my value add, right? Like I get in front of people, warm them up, have some fun. Like this job is supposed to be fun as well. Like I had some of the best dinners, happy hours, rooftops of my life whilst doing the job. And that really is just going to drive anything forward in this business. And I think particularly in the early days, like 23 in particular, like I was everywhere. Like I got a sniff of an opportunity, I'd get on a flight, and it was challenging at home. Like my wife wasn't super happy, but 23 and 24 were hard, and we still had pretty big, good EBIT
Your
years, and were
girlfriend
able
must
to
have been
drive the
happy though,
business.
eh?
Yeah, one of those. But yeah, look, it was everything is a sacrifice, and at times you got to make decisions, and my wife knew that for us to do well in that first year, and most businesses you make or break the first year, right? Like you can pretty easily die out, and we did pretty well, and it was really scrappy. And not to say it's not scrappy today. I think recruitment is always going to be a bit scrappy. Anyone that tells you otherwise, like not sure they're really doing the job every day. But yeah, it was like less so this year, but last 2 years, particular like Delta Platinum medallion, like on the road every week.
Tell me just a little bit about the staff in your own business. How being a British guy that's been in America for a while, what Americanization have you had to bring to the way you manage or your team or all of that compared to like what first boots on the ground Brits are like?
Yeah, luckily my team, we're actually about 50-50 split, though all the Brits have either married American or stayed long enough to have a green card, so they're Americanized. Um,
So you've got a British culture then.
Probably 50, yeah, probably. Probably 50-50. I think there's enough of those because even the Americans, right? Like I look at like Ross came from Hamlin Williams, so he knows that culture.
Okay.
And so like I think most of them have either worked for a British business or are British. So there is still a little bit. I think we're still distributed. So we got some guys in New Jersey. We have an office in New Jersey now. We've got some guys who go in there. Three guys and girls in Southern California. So we have hubs now that have kind of started to show up. I think the biggest thing, like from a difference perspective, they don't take as many holiday days because American culture, no one takes any holidays, so that's good. But other than that, I think like I manage the American dream is success, right? And abundance and really like get as much as you can, like get yours. And that's really always resonated with me is like, I think the British way is like to protect what you have and kind of hone and like, oh, don't tax me or whatever. Whereas in America, it's like, cool, like, let's go and get more, like excess,
Yeah.
abundance. Like, there's nothing stopping you from, okay, the person next to you is a $1.5 million biller. You're going to be a $2 million biller. Like
Yeah.
I've always kind of like that's a very American way, American thing of like just more. And I think that's really helped me as a leader is like driving that kind of get more, go and take as much as you can culture.
Sure. That's us today. We've went on a wild ride, hey?
We did a lot of very deep philosophy around AI and recruitment tools, but ton of fun to be back. And yeah, I think it's my third or fourth time now. So yeah,
You know what I want to
been
do the
fun.
next time? Next time I want to do a live one in America. And if we
When
did one in New
you got to get
York or
out, yeah,
something, yeah,
yeah, for
we
sure.
get you on the stage, get a couple of other people on the stage, have a bit of crack. That would be good fun, eh?
100%. Let's get it done. And I
Yeah,
remember probably due a good beer catch up. It's been, yeah, 5.5 years.
five and a
And
half years. All
me,
right.
you, and I think Rory Maddox tucked into a few one night in Venice.
That's great. You both have your own companies now, so it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's the way
You picked the winners. You knew what was happening.
always. Hey, that's my superpower.
You just know. You
I
just
do.
know.
I can smell them out. Right. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.